York Jets lose another game, 29-27 to the Buccaneers in a thriller at the end after a Will McDonald blocked field goal attempt by Chase McLaughlin and the Bucs. He blocks it, leaps over the offensive lineman, blocks it, picks it up, returns it back for a touchdown to put the Jets ahead 27-26. But Frankie, at the end, the Jets defense cannot come up with the key stop. Baker Mayfield drives the Bucs offense down the field to get the go-ahead game-winning touchdown. Field goal, 29-27, the final score. Jets start the season 0-3. Another tough loss. How you doing, my friend?
Yo, man, you know what, dude? At the end of the day, you would think, right, that we'd win a game where Will McDonald has one of the best plays I've seen a Jet player make in a long, long time. That's a play, Jonathan Vilma said it, that's a play that maybe 4 to 5 guys in the league can make. You would think you would win that game, don't you?
Oh, dude, I was screaming my head off. I'm like, what? What? Did he just do that? I mean, the play was so athletic and so freakish when you watch it from start to finish. And then you see Aaron Glenn dancing on the sideline, making moves. And you're like, holy crap, did the Jets just get some swagger here? And they just can't make the stop at the end, man.
And the black cloud just stays over this team, man. And it'll never go away until something changes upstairs, I'm starting to think. Because again and again and again, they find ways to just beat themselves. They find ways to embarrass themselves. They are being called out by former players on their team. Jonathan Vilma called them. They look like a high school football team out there, Jonathan Vilma said about the Jets, who was actually giving digs against us all day. So I'm kind of curious what happened there. But at the end of the day, Ryan, it was another Sunday of embarrassments for the Jets, for the fans, people that went out to Tampa to watch this game. Apparently, I was speaking to some people there that there was a lot of Jet fans there. The Jets can never seem to figure it out. They can never seem to get over the hump. We'll talk about the game, but I'm going to go into a little bit of a rant later that I have it very well prepared about what this team did this last offseason and how nothing made sense. I'm going to get into it later, but nothing made sense. And today, another L. I mean, I'm not as pissed off as I thought I'd be because that Will McDonald play kind of took me off the ledge a little bit. But we're the only team in football that has a play like that. And then, of course, they're going to come down and score. It's just like the joke keeps getting sicker and sicker and sicker. It is just one sick joke. It's cynical. It's nasty. It's horrifying. It's grimy. I don't know what the football gods have against us, man, but they want us in pain and embarrassment, and they're just laughing all the way to whatever they're laughing to, man. It never ends.
Yeah, I mean, look, it wasn't a great game, to be honest with you, to start, or actually I should say for 3 quarters. I think the fourth quarter obviously is when it turned up. The Jets, Tyrod Taylor, I'll give him credit in the fourth quarter start, takes them down the field, that drive to put them in within at least 2-score game. They go 11 plays, 73 yards at the fourth quarter with 6 minutes left. Drives them all the way down the field. I thought he was decisive. He made quick decisions. Dumped the ball up to his running backs when he needed to. Braylon looked good on that drive. Tyler Johnson actually caught a football on that drive for 20 yards, and they got down the field. And Garrett Wilson, really nice route running. He had a great game today. Catches the touchdown pass. 3:40 left. You're like, okay, Jets are making it interesting. It's 26-20 at that point, right? So you're like, all right, maybe they can make a stop and keep it going. The Bucs drive down the field, and that's what happens when they get the blocked field goal and they return it for a touchdown. You're like, holy crap, Jets just took the lead. You wouldn't expect that. But look, Frankie, did we think this team was going to be 0-3 to start the season when you looked at the schedule? I didn't. I really didn't. I know a lot of other people were like, it's a pretty tough schedule to start. They go 0-3. It's not an easy schedule to start. The schedule lightens up big time towards the end, but a loss is a loss. They find another way to lose a football game. Let's start, though, Frank, with this start of the game. The Jets offense could not do anything at the start of the game besides getting that first field goal drive. Tyrod just did not look great. He looked a little uncomfortable in the pocket. He kept taking hit after hit after hit. Breece Hall wasn't able to get anything going in the running game. And then you saw really Todd Bowles take advantage of the Jets offense and Tanner Engstrand, a rookie offensive coordinator, and he kept calling blitzes to the offense's left side, right through the B gap between John Simpson. Actually, sorry, the C gap between Simpson and Fashanu. He kept calling that delayed corner blitz or safety blitz. Antoine Winfield came in for the sack as well. And they just kept running that. And they kept running that blitz over and over and over. And Tyrod just getting beat up. And the Jets couldn't pick up the blitz. And they couldn't move the ball.
Yeah, man. They had how many sacks today? I mean, like, we couldn't get out of our own way the entire day. We got sacked 4 times. It seemed like Tyrod was at least pressured 10 to 12 times this entire game. The offensive line really had it coming to them today, man. I'm telling you, Todd Bowles had a very, very good game plan, saying they got a young offensive line. These are young kids. Olu's young.
And they pressured them.
Yeah,
they put pressure on him.
Yeah, John Simpson's not really ready, or he's not who maybe we thought he was. They got Tittman, who's young out there, and Myers, and they go, you know what? Let's just pressure the hell out of these guys. And even the backs, man. The backs had some issues today picking up those blitzes, because I saw Braylon Allen a few times, not really sure where to go. Brees also. So we weren't doing a really good job of picking up that blitz. On the other side, I wish we would have sacked Baker a little bit more. That would have been nice. So they out-sacked us today. I like looking at that stat sometimes. Kind of goes under the radar. We had 1 sack, and they sacked us 4 times.
Yeah, Frankie, to go to your point, we had 1 sack. They had 4. They hit Tyrod Taylor a total of 10 times today. Official 10 QB hits by the Bucs. They made them look uncomfortable. And to your point, Todd Bowles was just dialing up blitz after blitz after blitz. 3rd down, I kept crying to you, man, in the text we had together. I'm like, dial up something different offensively. You're lining up with 2 wide receivers lined up to the left, or you have a tight split with your wide receiver on the left side of your line of scrimmage. They're asking for you to blitz right there, because John Simpson, look, he's a solid run blocker, and he's probably positive in the run blocking game. But when it comes to pass blocking, he is not good, and he was not picking up the blitz well. Fashanu was getting confused out there. The communication was not great between those two. And every time you saw between the guard and tackle, Simpson and Fashanu, a free defender was coming from every time from the Bucs, and they just kept blitzing and blitzing. And Tyrod, while he's somewhat athletic and mobile, and he scrambled out a couple times, he's not Justin Fields. He's not going to break some tackles like that. So, yeah, it was a smart game plan by Todd Bowles.
Yeah, and when you blitz like they do, what ends up happening? You get a play like that Jamel Dean interception, pick 6 before the half. Now, yes, should Garrett have stepped up a little bit and gone after that ball?
He should have. Absolutely should have.
Yes, he should have.
He stopped his comeback route. You know that.
He did, but that was a fluttery ball, man. That ball was fluttering up there, so that's because he got hit.
But if Garrett comes back on that ball, but look, Frankie, he turned around and the ball hadn't been thrown yet. And then when the ball gets released, he's not working his way back to the ball. He should have known that Tyrod was floating that pass under pressure. You got to give your quarterback some help. And that's part of the mistakes, the mental mistakes. If you want to get into that now, part of this Jets team, we saw tons of mental mistakes, which is what Jonathan Vilma was hammering them for. Why they look like a high school team. It's why Tony Romo and Jim Nantz were killing them last week on the broadcast, where it's like, the Jets are just killing themselves. They're beating themselves. And that's exactly what happened again today. The pick 6 ends up actually being, Frankie, the difference in this game.
Of course.
He doesn't throw that pick 6. The Jets probably win this football game. I'm not going to lie to you right now. Like, they finally got something going in the 4th quarter offensively. And like, I would have loved to have seen another drive from them, hopefully to keep it going. But that pick 6 turned out to be crucial right before the half. And it swung all the momentum in the game. And you pretty much kept tell the Bucs, like, yeah, this is your game. So, the mental mistakes, though, twice the Jets on offense lined up incorrectly, illegal formation, or they had a what was the other one? It was Arian Smith on the first one, and then the second one was it Tyler Johnson, who had the second penalty for illegal formation. But 2 of them, they had him offensively, though.
Yeah, it was Arian Smith, and then the other one was they called it on Olu Fashanu.
Oh, it was Fashanu,
but
right?
It wasn't, though. It was Arian Smith. They called it on him, though. Yeah.
So, like, they had 2 illegal formation penalties for this game. They had an illegal 2 men in the landing zone on a kickoff return. Luckily, the Buccaneers declined that penalty on what was a decent return from the Jets. And then, like, how many times are we going to see the Jets defense just mentally not understand the situation and over pursuing on a swing pass over to the right. I think it was Bucky Irving, jukes out the entire defense. The mental mistakes are crucial, and the Jets keep doing it to themselves, and that's why they're losing these football games.
Yeah, man, you know what you're starting to see? I'm starting to see this, and it has to do exactly with what you're saying. This is an amateur hour coaching staff. They are very new. Aaron Glenn's never been a head coach. Tanner Engstrand's never been an offensive coordinator. And Steve Wilks looks like he's ready to retire. Steve Wilks, retire. You've been in the league long enough. Please retire. Thank you for your services. You had a great NFL career. Your resume is about this long. You can't. They should make the Steve Wilks resume Bible. That's how long his resume is. Retire. Tanner Engstrand, you don't got the quarterback, my guy. You got to wait for one. And Aaron Glenn, you got a lot of work to do because, like what you're saying, Ryan, all those mental mistakes, at the end of the day, it falls on the head coach and the other coaches there to put guys in the best position to make plays. The Jets were not put in the best position to make plays. But Ryan, let's not talk about our issues with penalties when the Bucs had 14 penalties themselves today. So granted, ours killed us because we don't do well when we have 6 or 7 penalties. We had 7 today. The Bucs had 14 penalties also for 124 yards. Now, they got bailed out, so there was 3 penalties that kind of offset because of that 3rd and 29, which again, typical for us, right? Getting that defensive pass interference with Sauce there. But yeah, at the end of the day, Rye, this was a sloppy game, and we're not going to win sloppy games. Let's just call a spade a spade. We don't have enough big play players. Nobody today, I texted you this, you know what this game needs right now from us on offense? Someone needs to have a big play. Brees needs to spring one off. Garrett needs to have something down the field.
I thought Garrett played pretty well today, besides the one play where he didn't come back to the ball in the interception.
He played okay, man. He didn't get enough yak. You know what Garrett needs, man? And I'm not trying to be super critical. Garrett's got to put on a few pounds, bro. That kid's too skinny. He's too skinny, Ryan.
Frankie, 10 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. I highly disagree on Garrett Wilson not having a good game. That's what he is, man. That's what he is. Like, you sign up for him to be a separator and for him to get good route running and make good plays, and that's what he did today.
Listen, he didn't play badly. He was also he didn't play badly today, right? I'm not saying he did, but 8
you can't but you can't totally kill this team today. I know you want to. You want to kill them brutally. You can kill them.
Should I?
But hang on, the Jets defense did make a bunch of stops in the second half, did they not?
Yeah, they did too.
They kept them in the football game in the second half until the final drive, which Sauce Gardner was out with an injury at that point. Quincy Williams was out at that point. So you're down 2 of your best defenders. If not, they are your 2 best defenders. I thought Quinn Williams did play really well today as well. So you're down your two of your star defensive players. And the Bucs went down the field and scored that game-winning field goal. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. They played well in the second half, the Jets defense, I thought, for the most part. Like, the Buccaneers are a very good football team. They're a playoff team.
Ryan, you play well. You know what playing well would have been to me, though, Ryan? And found that last drive, somebody, Quinnen Williams, who you're pointing at having a great game, could you have gotten a sack on that last drive? You have 1 sack on that last drive, Ryan. The game's basically in your hands. I mean, he didn't have a sack today, obviously. I mean, why would Quinnen Williams have a sack, please? Am I asking for the Tooth Fairy to come and visit me tomorrow? It's insanity with this team, man. They needed another sack or 2. They only got 1. They needed a pick. They didn't get a pick again today. Like, when is this team gonna force a turnover, Ryan? I'm counting. It's 3 games now. 3 games without a turnover. 3.
Yeah, remember the first half, Baker fumbled the ball on the sack, and then no one jumps on the ball.
And then we get a fumble. It goes right into their lap, right?
Yeah, that was Antoine Winfield again on the blitz.
Great
blitz that the
player.
Jets offense could not pick up.
I wish we had a player like that in our secondary.
Look, man, the secondary's not been great. And then we can highlight, if you want, defensively, the Bucs 1 touchdown of the game. They go down the field, and you have Brandon Stevens lined up 1-on-1 at the 1-yard line in the end zone, at the goal line, and you decide to line up your number 2 corner. Sauce is playing tight on the line of scrimmage because there's no receiver on his side of the field. Why didn't you switch up coverage and put Sauce on Mike Evans at the goal line? What are we doing, Steve Wilks? What are we doing, Aaron Glenn? That's basic 101. Yeah. I know if I'm Baker Mayfield or anyone else in the freaking stadium knows, if I got Mike Evans against Brandon Stevens, I'm taking that route every single time, and I'm throwing him the ball no matter what. And they did, and they scored the touchdown. It's stuff like that mentally I feel like the Jets are not tight. They're not on their P's and Q's like Aaron Glenn preaches to the fans and media and says, I'm going to be on our P's and Q's with this team. It just hasn't been there. So they don't play sound football. They don't play clean football at all. They're sloppy like we saw today. And it's a rough watch. It really is. Like,
did you see, by the way, the sorry to cut you off. Did you see the Bucs offensive coordinator, just to play off your point? Josh Grizzard, you know how many times he schemed up wide receiver screens today? Yeah. By the way, of which that was a huge one to Shepard at the end of the game that actually set them up for an easy field goal. He knew what Wilkes was going to do. You're going to bring a zone blitz or a man blitz on one side. You got one less guy. We're going to bring one more out there. You got one D-back out there with two receivers lined up. One of those receivers is just doing a little shell out. They're going to pick up 8 yards. We can't tackle anyway.
Yeah.
Our D-backs can't tackle if their life depended on it. So, I mean, it's pretty easy.
This team with tackling has been over pursuing too much. I mean, you look again on that second drive of the game for the Bucs. Again, I mentioned the Bucky Irving gets the pass and he jukes out looks like the entire team's defense. There's a screenshot I saw. I think it was MYJ Mike tweeted out like, and everyone's looking like, oh, they're running into each other because they can't make the play and they over pursue. What was the point of running live tackling drills at training camp if you're Aaron Glenn, if you can't make a tackle right now? So look, we're all over the place right now. We're way too negative in my opinion, but at the same time, we do want to keep it real with Jets fans and like ourselves. I hold Aaron Glenn to a higher standard, right? Because he asked us to when he said, we're the New York Jets, we're freaking built for this, and that I'm going to bring pride back into this organization. But it's been 3 straight weeks, Frankie, of week 1 looked great, in my opinion. Looked great. The defense didn't pick up its end, but it looked like a game they should have won, and they really should have won that game. But weeks 2 and 3, it's just been sloppy, it's been ugly, and it's just been a lot of mental mistakes that I think as a team from coaching staff and players, it's not good, and it's not going to cut it if you want to try and win football games in the NFL.
No, it's not, man. It's not. I mean, listen, if there's one thing that you can take from today that I thought they did a better job at was stopping the run. I thought today the Jets did a pretty good job at stopping the run. Bucky Irving really in the running game, he had some nice plays in the passing game, but he had 25 carries for 66 yards, 2.6 yards a carry. Yeah, that's great against Bucky Irving, right?
Baker doesn't rip off a 33-year scramble. They hold them for less than 90 yards rushing.
Yep, and they had 34 carries as a team for 122 yards, 3.6 yards a carry, including that Baker 33-yard run. But again, though, Ryan. They did have that 33-yard run. Josh Allen did have that 40-yard run last week. So there's just something with this team that I think when things get tough, they press, and they're not big play players. I don't know if they're meant to play in New York or what it is, but you saw in that Baker run today, 2 guys run into each other, and then who's the last guy you see trying to chase down Baker? Your best friend over there, number 72. I'm not even going to say his name anymore because I hope he's not on the team anymore.
You want to talk about Michael Clemens? We'll talk about Michael Clemens.
I mean, dude, he just doesn't do anything. I feel like you could put 90% of the defensive ends in the NFL today in that position. Backups, I'm talking. Backups that'll do probably just as good, if not a better job. But, man, it is what it is. They did bench him. You know that, right?
Yes.
They put in Braden McGregor. Yeah.
So this is what I want to talk about Jets fans. So our guy, Michael Clemens, who I highlighted in the pregame show this week, which you guys should all watch if you Jets fans tuning in now. Watch the Gangs All Here preview show with Frankie and Costello and myself. We do a great job breaking down all the Jets action heading into each week. We do picks, overs, and unders. We talk about what the coaches and players are talking about during the week. And one of the things I highlighted was Michael Clemens and the defense that Aaron Glenn went into after last week's brutal 3rd and 19 roughing the passer penalty. So Michael Clemens has another 15-yard personal foul face mask on a running play that the Jets had stuffed up. 15 yards turns into a 2nd and 9 into now another 1st and 10 for the Buccaneers. And what happens? Aaron Glenn pulls him off the field at that point. This was right before halftime and said, you're done. You're sitting on the bench. And he ended up only playing 34 snaps today, Frankie. There was a possible 64 today, so he missed 30 snaps. They benched him for most of the second half until that last 2 drives of the game, where eventually it's like, well, we can't rely on McGregor to play every single snap because this guy we just brought up from the practice squad, so we got to bring him back out there. But Clemens was virtually benched for the entire second half. I'm interested to see what Aaron Glenn's going to say about that. But look, I think the Jets are going to try and spin this as a positive, like, hey, we gave great effort, which they did I will give them credit, Frankie. In the second half, I think they really did play a lot better compared to the first half, both offensively and defensively. The game was there, though, and the pick six really cost them. And then the fumble on Antoine Winfield forcing Tyrod Taylor, they kick a field goal after that. You're talking about 10 points right there off of 2 turnovers from the Jets. And like you said, the Jets defense can't cause a turnover if it's life dependent on it. That's how you lose a football game.
Absolutely. And we also brought up when Quincy got hurt in the second half, I think him exiting the game, although the defense did look better, I think on that last drive, we could have used a little bit of Quincy. Kind of needed that little rocket ship right there to kind of.
He probably would have been on that wide receiver screen to,
I was about to say that.
Shepard.
Exactly.
McCrary Ball made that tackle.
Yep. You're 100% right there. But Ryan, man, at the end of the day, and we have a comment here, and I think this is very relevant from Kenny Shane here. What's up, Kenny? Looks all the same as Saleh, only Glenn talks tough instead of being a nice guy. I mean, do you disagree with that? It does look the same. Now, I'll say this. It is still early. It's very tough. And this is where I'll be rational. I won't be crazy like I was a little earlier. I'll be a little rational here that this is Aaron Glenn's 3rd game as a head coach in this league. Todd Bowles has coached how many games in this league? So it's going to be difficult for somebody to not get out coached or to out coach another coach that's been coaching 100 games in this league. So it's never going to be easy for a head coach in their 3rd game to look like they're there or they're out coaching somebody else. It's more likely than not that they'll look like they're getting out coached. So, but with that being said, this team's got to come more prepared on defense, Aaron Glenn. You're a defensive guy. Steve Wilks has been a head coach in this league. Steve Wilks has coached a Super Bowl defense. They lost, granted, but he coached a defense that went to the Super Bowl. You're telling me that they can't put together a better defensive game plan? You said it, and we were texting about it. You have all this talent on defense. And by the way, we got to start questioning this talent, but I don't want to get into it because I don't want to call guys out.
Yeah, we can't get into talent. First
That's fine. But I'm just saying, is the scheme going to look – are we going to do anything interesting? Are we going to get a turnover? I mean, like, why are we having these conversations? They're 2 defensive coaches, right?
Yeah, look, so it's interesting you say that. And this is something I just brought up before you talked about this with the defense. Aaron Glenn, after the game, said the one thing I don't do, which I understand New York media tries to do, is the negative parts of it. I'm not going to be that way. I'm going to let you guys deal with that. We're going to look at the things we did well.
Folks, really? You're going to look at the things you did? What did you do well? Will McDonald did well today? Garrett Wilson? All right.
Garrett Wilson did well today.
Quentin Williams? Tyrod had a good
got a solid day. Tyrod had a good 4th quarter. And look, that's what I'm trying to say. We can't be completely negative here, Frankie. I know it's a loss, and it looked bad again for most of the part. But I really do think the Jets did turn it around in the 4th quarter. Like, the mental mistakes. I know you don't want to hear this.
I think you're being crazy, dude. I think that Will McDonald play, because it got to my head a little bit, and I canceled it out before I got on the show because I was super excited to come on here and go nuts about a win. I think that that leveled us out a little bit from where, or leveled me out a little bit, but I'm not letting it overcompensate for what the reality is.
Cloud your judgment on this?
Cloud my judgment. There we go. That's the right way to say it. Exactly. Yeah, I'm not going to let it cloud my judgment.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. But again, on a day where you as a team had 7 penalties, the Bucs had 14. So like you didn't have more penalties than them, right? You did lose the turnover battle, which is not a great thing. It's a negative again if you want to look at it. Again, I would have loved to have seen Tyrod get one more drive because I do think the Jets finally had something cooking offensively. It's unfortunate it took until 6 minutes left in the 4th quarter for them to finally show some offensive, positives from the game. But dude, overall, it's a negative for the game. Like, the Jets lost this football game. They were down 2 scores for most of the game, if not 3. And the defense, I thought, again, first half, not great. Second half finally showed up and started making their adjustments. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, this is the Aaron Glenn thing, man. That's just who he is. He thinks the media is his enemy. And the more comments he makes like this, in my opinion, it's just going to push the media even further away from you. And you're going about it the wrong way, in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm not Aaron Glenn. I'm not the Jets head coach. I'm also the Jets PR guy, giving him advice. He wants to go this way. This is the route he wants to go. It's going to be him against the world. That's what he wants.
Exactly. Yeah. Aaron Glenn's putting his gloves on. He's ready to fight the media.
But I don't want that. I want to root for the Jets, man.
That's who he is, man. I just think that's his personality. I think he came into this saying that I'm going to fight whomever I need to, and I'll do it with my back against the wall. I don't think there's any backing down from that guy. I think he'll do this if they lose 8 games in a row. I don't agree with it either, right? But you can see it. You can see how fiery he is. You saw in that Will McDonald play how excited he was, which I like. I like that stuff. Don't get me wrong, but there is a line there where you can't bring that stuff necessarily into the media and have that coach's sort of personality with the players, with the media members. Like, he's trying to be tough with everyone. Like, have a little bit of, I guess, decency, or however you want to describe it, with the media. Like, they're just covering the freaking sport. They write about this stuff. And for all the people that hate the media, hey, the reason why football's so popular, a lot of it is because of the way it's covered. And we're having shows like this, and you can read stuff and you can entertain yourself. So don't always blame the media, but not to get into that. But yeah.
So look, I agree with you. That's how he's going about it. It's not the way I would go about it, but again, I'm not a football head coach. Like, I don't run the Jets and all that. And I'm not Aaron Glenn, and I'm fine with him, thinking he's going to run it his way. It's just Jets fans are desperate, man. And like, this is 15 years now of us looking like absolute dog crap. And this team just continues to find new ways to lose games, like you talked about today. And they just have this cloud over them, this dark cloud. We know it. You don't have to point it out to us as a head coach. But I don't think you're going about this the right way by alienating the fans and the media and saying, we're going to look at the positives, not the negative states. Like, dude, there's a part of you that can be honest with us and say, am I happy about how many mental mistakes we had today? Absolutely not. Like, that was the reason we probably lost this football game again today. And we have to clean that up. But I also want to look at the positives that I thought defensively, we actually made some pretty good adjustments, and we stopped Baker and the Bucs offense in the second half. And I thought offensively, we finally picked things up in that fourth quarter. Was it good enough, though? No, it shouldn't have to come down to that. That's how you do it. But the way he's going about it now, with saying like the media is going to choose the negatives on all of it. Yeah, man, because you force us to, because of the product on field. It's like
100%, bro. 100%.
It's like what Kyle said on the preview show. If I know a bad movie, I'm going to say it's a bad movie. And when I see a bad football team, I know it's a bad football team. And that's what the Jets are right now.
Yeah, and what also did Kaz say? He goes, it's not 3 games, it's 14 years. So that's the reality with us. And listen, we're going to be rational. I was tweeting irrationally earlier today. But you know what, Ryan? Can you give me a minute on this? Because I just want to go through something. This last offseason, there were a bunch of things done that kind of brought us to this point where basically we're not going to make the playoffs this year. Sound alarm. I don't know if people realize that. Like, the chances are literally 1 or 2%. Regardless, this offseason, we did a few things that I didn't agree with. And I said, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I disagree. It's okay. When you have a list of it's okay, 10 things, and I'll just roll off a few. You hired a defensive head coach. You need to score points. You got talent on defense. Should have hired an offensive head coach. You brought in a guy, Darren Muji, that really nobody knew who he was. You needed someone with more experience to put together a roster. You brought in Justin Fields, who's on his 3rd team that no one really had faith in, and you're trying to do a Justin Fields experiment with a defensive head coach. Doesn't really make sense. On top of that, you don't get a wide receiver 2 or 3 or 4, really, for that fact, that can really help out this quarterback. Something else doesn't make sense. You don't draft a quarterback. Like, out of all the teams that draft quarterbacks, all the teams that drafted a quarterback this year, all of them, we, the Jets, don't need to draft a quarterback. Sorry, it's okay. We should have drafted a quarterback in the 1st round, 2nd round, wherever you want to draft one. We should have. We paid Sauce Gardner a year earlier than he could have gotten paid, and we paid Garrett Wilson. Now, I understand paying them for cap reasons, but you didn't need to pay them, and you don't know where this team's going. These guys aren't helping us win games. Paying both of those guys this early, hold on, let me just finish, did not make sense to me. One out of the 2 did, not both. Breece Hall's on this roster right now. Are we going to keep Breece or not? Because Breece Hall's a free agent next year. Are they going to move him? I would think about that. Keeping him on the roster may not also make sense. Steve Wilks, an old head, with a first-time offensive coordinator, are you running a young operation or an old operation? Who are we developing on offense? Tanner Engstrand's out there. Who? You're developing Mason Taylor? That was a pick also I wasn't too keen on because of his inability to get yak. I think he's good at catching the ball. I think he finds finds soft zones, but he cannot get yak, and we saw it today. He just can't move the chains himself. He's great at point of attack. Another move that didn't make sense. We draft a D end and a linebacker. These guys out of Miami, they can't even play.
Hang on, I'm going to stop you here.
I'm saying,
now you're killing everything.
It is an off season of doesn't make sense. And we're here.
I don't agree with that whatsoever. And I'm not getting into the offseason. I think that's a ridiculous take by you right now because you can't kill them for signing Sauce and Garrett Wilson. Both guys have been their best players, both offensively and defensively. Garrett Wilson had 10 freaking catches. What are you talking about? You just said Garrett Wilson getting an extension in the offseason didn't make sense. And that's a ridiculous take by you.
Both of them.
That's a ridiculous take.
Why? He has another year. Why?
It's a ridiculous take.
We're not winning games with any of these guys.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not getting into this because this is ridiculous. Let's talk about the football game. The offseason stuff is not where this show is meant for right now.
You told me in the offseason. Sorry. You guys told me in the offseason. I was told that paying these guys is going to help us win football games. That's what I was told.
No, I said this is how you build a football team.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying in general. That was what I was told. All right. Yeah, we're building a hell of a team.
They're not a good football team. We're going over this right now. They don't play football well. They're not coached well right now. They're not schemed up well. So don't blame the players completely. That's what you're doing right now. And I think that's a ridiculous thing to say right now. There are a lot of players that could play better, yes. But I also think that right now this Jets team is just devoid of talent. They played Michael Clemens so much these first 3 weeks because they didn't address the defensive end position depth-wise. Quinnen Williams came off a huge injury this training camp. I think they've tried to play it down, the calf injury that he really had. So he's trying to work his way back. I thought today he actually really had an impact. So you want to talk about positives? That's there. Quincy Williams got banged up in the third quarter. That really affected them the rest of the game. Sauce Gardner getting banged up hurted them the rest of the game. You need your players on the field, and they also need to make plays when they're on the field too. No doubt about it. But you cannot deny the fact that the Jets went about their offseason mostly right in the right ways they went about it. You disagree because you just want them to draft freaking what's-his-face from Ohio State, who's not going to come in here and win football games, Frankie. That's a ridiculous thought.
It's not the only thing, Ryan. I just don't understand if you're trying to build a team that wants to run a Tanner Engstrand kind of offense and something new and creative and different. You don't have Justin Fields and not
new
a wide
and different
receiver
creative.
too.
How about the fact that Tanner Engstrand today kept lining up his receivers to the left side of the offense and letting Todd Bowles call blitzes on third down because he's got two tight receivers or tight ends close to the line of scrimmage who are lined up in man, and then he's running literal zone blitzes and man blitzes off the edge, and the Jets couldn't pick up a blitz. How about that offensively, scheme-wise? Doesn't make sense. So criticize them for on the field what they're doing wrong. Instead, you're criticizing decisions that are so far in the past that we can't revisit right now. Right now, you have to talk about on the field. We're 3 weeks into the season. They still have a lot of games left. And right now, the Jets have to figure out how they're mentally going to handle this week to week. And I don't appreciate when the head coach is coming on here and telling us that we're being negative. It's working us up into a whole fit tizzy because the on-field product has been absolute dog crap besides week one.
No, Ryan, listen, I agree with you. We can disagree about the offseason stuff, and I didn't want to get into it necessarily. But why I'm doing this right now is it's kind of like a culmination of right now. I don't know what the inflection point is going to be on this season because at some point you're going to want to hit a point where we have faith in what they're trying to do or build here because people are checked out, man.
Right, but don't kill Mason Taylor pick.
I'm not killing it.
You just killed it. You literally just killed it 5 minutes ago.
I'm killing the pick for us. I'm not killing him as a player. I think Mason Taylor's a good player.
You just said he can't separate.
He can't. No. He can't get yak. He can't get yak. That was his biggest thing. In
3 weeks into the season, you're like, you can't get yak.
Do you know how much yak he had last year? Look it up. He was like 140 at that tight end.
So you want me to compare his last year in college to him in the pros 3 weeks into
I'm saying
his career?
That's not the
it's
kind
ridiculous,
of receiver
Frankie. Come on.
Not ridiculous.
Be in the reality here. Look in the reality. Look, Mason Taylor is his third week into the season, man, and he's just getting into this offense, and he missed a lot of training camp time. So this is where I have to be on the reality here. If you want to kill the Jets for not getting a second wide receiver. You shouldn't be relying on a tight end, a rookie tight end, to be your second best receiver, Frankie. That's where you can kill them. Don't kill them for doing stuff that makes sense. Where Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, and going after a tackle in the first round. They weren't going to draft a quarterback in the first round. And Membu looked great the first week. He's gone through his rookie struggles a little bit, and he still looks solid. But kill them for things that make sense, man. They don't have a second receiver. That they have to kill him. Tyler Johnson today. Tyler Johnson on third down drops a huge ball. A huge ball over the middle for 20-plus yards. That probably would have put the Jets in field goal range. Actually would have kept them in the game in the first. I think it was the first half or the beginning of the second half. And then Alan Lazard, the corpse of Alan Lazard, finally shows up and catches the touchdown pass after that long drive from Tyrod. And you almost thought he dropped the ball. Like, Ryan, that's what they have a receiver right now.
Ryan, listen, we're literally talking about the same thing, but I'm talking in more of a generalized sense, right? I'm just saying, with the way that the team was put together, I thought they needed to address that quarterback spot and put as much talent around the quarterback to be successful in New York, especially. That's the only thing. And I don't know if they did that. That's the thing. I don't know if they got the quarterback right. I don't know if they got the weapons right. I don't even know if they got the tight end right.
We know they didn't get the weapons right. They didn't get another receiver. It's Garrett and Brees. And mind you, Brees got 13 touches today. That's unacceptable.
Remember when people were saying Brees Hall? Who was the only one, by the way? Who's the only one that told you guys Brees ain't going to line up in the slot and be a slot receiver?
But that's on your offensive coordinator that you love, Tanner Engstrand. He's so good. 13 touches, Mr. Tanner Engstrand. How about that, Frankie? Kill him for that. You're killing the wrong things. I'm telling you right now.
I'm just telling you everything that we discussed or I've discussed in the offseason that I was worried about, that I didn't believe. I don't believe people because they say it. I don't believe people because they just say things. I don't believe it. I gotta find it out myself. I gotta dig and search and find the gold myself to get the fucking facts. Sorry to curse, but that's it. And I'm not finding anything right now. And the only thing I'm finding is all the crap that I thought about with all this crap. Whatever. Let's move on. I'm not trying to. I don't want to argue about this stuff. It's ridiculous. We should not be 0-3 right now. And,
I mean, 1 and 2, you still feel the same way, no matter how.
Yeah, but it's 1 and 2. At least you can, you can knock on the door for something. It's like I don't know. At least you got like this Miami game. These guys can get excited for it. It's just like,
come on, do not, Frankie.
I'm saying if
you're trying to piss me off today. I don't know.
If you're 1 and 2, you can get excited for this Miami game.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the Miami Thursday night game because they were competitive against the Bills.
No. I'm talking about the team getting excited to go play a team to get to 500.
Yeah, I mean, look,
it's like now you're 0-3. Like, all right, let's get to 1 and 3. It's like, all right.
Yeah, like go get a win next week. But look, man, like today was not good. From the start of the game until I would say almost the fourth quarter. I thought the Jets were the better football team in the fourth quarter today. I understand that Baker Mayfield drove them down the field twice to get the game-winning field goal, and the Jets had a great block by Will McDonald and returned it for a touchdown. But then the second time, they couldn't come up with the stop when they needed to, which goes with the theme of what this Jets franchise has been now for a year and a half now, where they can't get critical stops defensively when they need to. They're putting them in these opportunities, but they just have not come through and cashed on them. That's the difference here. A lot of these football games come down to those minute 1 or 2 or 4 plays. Yeah. And if you can't make those plays to win a football game and close it out, that's what's going to make the difference between 0-3, 1 and 2, 2 and 2, whatever.
Yeah, that's it, man. I mean, it's always a few plays, right? And I thought we had the play this week that would have been great to win a game like that. I mean, that's a play that can turn your season around. By the way, I like this comment, but it's like, I like when you guys yell at each other. Yeah, it happens once in a while. It's okay.
I don't like yelling at you.
Well, I was coming in negative today. I was negative, Frankie.
I'm fine with the negativity because I'm on the same boat as you. Like, Aaron Glenn's going to criticize us because he thinks that we're the negative media. That's fine, man. Like, we're looking at the game from a bird's eye view. We don't know the intricacies of what goes on every single day. But I know what I watched in the field. I'm going to watch the All-22 again tomorrow. I'm going to be screaming at my TV, at my computer screen again, because I'm going to watch these delayed blitzes coming over and over and over. And I'm going to ask yourself, why didn't you motion a wide receiver away from the tight on the tackle, on the left tackle and left guard? Why didn't you have extra protection from Isaiah Davis going after that delayed blitz after you saw it one or two times?
Yeah.
Like, split these guys out differently. Give me a wide receiver. Like, they tried the wide receiver screen a couple times in the first half. Didn't work out at all. I didn't like it on first down, but third down, think about doing something different. And yeah, man, you're not giving the ball enough to Breece. I thought, and Braylon, like, get these guys involved more. Why am I seeing Breece with 13 touches today? Why am I seeing Braylon with only a couple carries? Like, get the running backs involved. These guys are talented. You don't have a number 2 wide receiver. I can criticize you because you're not using the actual wide receivers that have talent. How many times, Frankie, today did you see Breece and Braylon on the field at the same time? I didn't see that at all today.
Yeah, we didn't even use Isaiah Davis at all today. And you saw that
he was lined up for one drive, remember? And then they never gave him the ball.
Yeah, and I did like in the fourth quarter, I did like some of those late drives by Tyrod where he was just getting those little dump offs out to Braylon Allen. That was nice to see. I mean, you have all this mesh going on and all these receivers kind of going down the field, and you could just pick up some easy chunk of yards with your running backs underneath, which was nice to see. It was like, all right, cool. Like, they're taking what the defense is giving them, which can set you up down as the game ends that down the line to maybe win the game. And the Jets at a point, I mean, we almost won this game. I mean, which is insane to think. But that's what happens when you take what the defense gives you. You get some nice, plays, some chunky yards with Braylon in the passing game. Even Mason Taylor, my boy, had a few nice plays late. So that was nice to see. I will say, and we were speaking about this before, the thing with Breece is going to benefit, I think, a lot more in the run game when you have Justin Fields in there. I think that dynamic, that read option with Fields does a lot more wonders, I think, for Breece than it does for Braylon to a degree. You saw Breece had a really nice run where he did sort of slither. That's a typical Breece play. And that's something where when you run the zone read that I think, I know because you have that end sort of waiting and spying on the quarterback, whether they're going to give it or keep it. So that Breece can slither through the line of scrimmage and sort of pick up those kind of yards. So we didn't really see that much today outside of the beginning of the game because they didn't run a lot of zone read today. Listen, I love Tanner Engstrand. I didn't think he called a great game, but I will say this, that fourth down play, for example, there's always context to it. That 4th and 1, Tyrod comes up to the line and goes, kill, meaning he comes up to the line and whatever they were going to call.
Preach, Frankie.
He killed the play, and the secondary play was the off tackle to Braylon. So he saw something on the line of scrimmage that told him that they had one more blocker or they had a lane there, and he killed whatever the initial call was. But listen, that is also on the play caller a little bit too. I mean, like, it's not like you told Tyrod you're just going to have to run this play. You're giving him the secondary option, which he took, and it was obviously the wrong play. But listen, man, and speaking on Tyrod, his numbers looked a lot better than his actual play today. Listen, I don't want to say he played bad because he didn't play that bad, but he's a backup quarterback. You said it to me. We were texting. I'm like, Tyrod, this guy stinks. And you're like, yeah, Frankie, what do you expect? He's a backup. I mean, it's true. I mean, it is what it is. He's older. He's beat up. He's he's not going to give you what he had, man. And he kind of put it all out there today. I thought he played as well as you're going to expect. I think fans and myself being one of them that thought that he'd come in here and like light things up potentially, like that could have potentially happened with Tanner Engstrand. I think we're a little bit crazy, but next week Justin Fields will be back. So I mean,
you would hope so. It's a long week. We'll see. The one thing I will say, like, the pass offense did look good again. Not good, but a lot better than week 2. Like, it just looked way more competent with Tyrod. Like, you could tell he can make his decisions downfield. I would just love for the Jets to get an explosive play downfield, though. Like, we haven't.
That's what I'm waiting for, man.
It was the Garrett Wilson touchdown against the Steelers week 1. That was it.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And I think this team needed that today. Like, if you look at the drive charts, it was a sloppy first half. Things picked up in the second half. But both teams were sort of waiting for a big play to kind of happen to break things open or break the Jets back or the Jets potentially knocking on the door. I don't think the Jets ever did that until Will McDonald. I mean, that was the one play. That wasn't an offensive play.
Yeah.
That was a special teams play.
Would you say this is another, because of what Aaron Glenn said after the game, where he's going to focus, we're going to look at the things we did well is another moral victory for the Jets?
I mean, listen.
It feels like lip service for moral victories, does it not?
Yeah, it does a little bit, man. I mean, listen, to be honest, the Will McDonald, I was going to come in a lot more negative. So you probably would have choked me if Will McDonald didn't have that block today. But listen, plays like that are things you look at, and that's like an all-time kind of play there. So you sort of wasted that play. That's something that you can talk about and bring up year after year and game after game this season and say, no matter what, we can win games because we can do things like this with players like this. And this is like something, that can motivate the team. But a play like this will just come and go. And people will forget about it, unfortunately, because the Jets lost the game. So it's unfortunate. But I will say this team's got talent. I was telling my cousin from Italy, actually, who was asking about the Jets, I'm like, man, we have talent. But like it always is, the coaching right now is just not there. The guys aren't put in positions to make plays, and they don't really know how to make plays and win football games. So as this season goes on and on, I'm pissed off, Ryan. I'm just really pissed off because I didn't want to be 0-3. We want to be in week 9 and say, oh, if we win out, maybe we got something here, like we like those conversations. And based on the stats and teams going 0-3 and what their chances are of making the playoffs. And I know this is not a playoff year for us. I'm not stupid, but it's nice to have those what if scenarios as a fan. That's what being a fan is, right? So,
yeah, man. Garrett Wilson talked after the game about the emotions of the Jets taking the lead late and then giving up a touchdown after. It's tough. Or not touchdown, field goal after. It's tough. You feel you climb a mountain. Getting back to take a lead. We know that we were up against having to get that stop, and Will made a hell of a play. And Sauce said he's good after being evaluated for concussion today. I went back in and I passed the concussion protocol, so he should be okay and ready to go for next week as well. We will wait for updates for Quincy Williams. Shoulder injury didn't look great when he collapsed on that. So you're worried about Quincy, how long he'd be out, because he's a very important part of this defense. He was flying around today. He was making plays today, Frankie. That the Sherwood again is just struggling. You're seeing him get swallowed up in these offensive linemen and just not making the right reads in the run game, not making reads in the pass game, and he's floating in space on third down. I mean, I think it was Mika Ibuka it's on 3rd and 9, and Michael Carter's playing way off in zone, like 12 yards off. And then Sherwood, the underneath defender, is supposed to drift off to the flat there.
Yeah.
Doesn't read Baker's eyes, and it's an easy pitch and catch. I mean, there's no one touching Ibuka. And it's like Mike Evans was out of the game at this point. And you're like, what are we doing? Get over there, Sherwood. Or Carter, play up more. Don't give him so much space. It's 3rd and 9. You're playing 10 yards off. By the time you're backpedaling and he's settling into you're almost 12 yards off. It's 3rd and 9. What are we doing?
And to your point about guys playing off, Sterling Shepard had a good game today. Sterling Shepard, who's known for being great after the catch, he had 4 catches for 80 yards today. He did a lot better today than Mike Evans. I know we look at Mike Evans having a good game. Mike Evans only had 33 yards today, 33, 4 catches. Sterling Shepard was a sleeper there in that wide receiver department. So he was the one that, like you're saying, these guys are playing 10, 12 yards off, and you're just dumping it right off to Sterling Shepard in the flat instantly, and he's getting yards. And he cost us potentially because that screen at the end that they threw to him, Rye, that really set up an easy field goal that was the game. So, but listen, man, at the end of the day, I think right now what the Jets need to do, I think, and this is part of the process, right? With a new head coach, with a new GM, with a new OC, a new everything, it seems like. They need to go in and audit the rosters, see what works, what doesn't work, what guys that they want to give more time to. Like, they need to go in and look at Braden McGregor and say, what is this guy offering us? Do we want to give him Michael Clemens' reps when Jermaine gets back? So there's some things you can do there. I saw the safeties today not really getting much better. Cisco got
Malik
cooked on a late play that sort of cost us. So
Malachi Moore played a lot of plays today, I think, because there was the injury to. Yeah, Malachi Moore played 64 snaps today.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, they played him at safety pretty much the whole game.
I didn't see that. I didn't know he played that much. I thought he played like 40-ish. So
yeah, it was the injury to Tony Adams. I don't think really played it. I don't think he played it all today. So
that's good to see.
Look, you hopefully you get
Azariah got some looks at the end too, which was
yep.
Nice.
I'm hoping the Jets get Jermaine back next week. They get hopefully Tony Adams back, and they get I don't know. We'll see what Quincy Williams. It doesn't look great for him right now. We haven't gotten an update about him yet. So, yeah, I mean, they need to get a lot of these defenders back if they want to play better on defense, to be honest with you.
Yeah. The other concern I would say with the team right now that I'm a little concerned with moving forward is the run blocking ability by this offensive line. I think they're a little bit light. They're all a little they're like thinner build sort of tackles and guards, and I need some more meat up front, like I need these guys to get a little bit more, sack in their pants or whatever what do they call it?
You need more stones, basically.
You need more stones. Yeah. And they're a little bit lean and they're too skinny and lean for me. But they move well in space and they're able to get their hands on, and they're good. Although today they seemed like they were a step behind for most of the day because Bowles just came at them. And I thought that was a really good game plan for them. But this offensive line, I want to see them get a little bit better run blocking, because today you saw a more traditional sort of run system that the Jets put out there, because for some reason, I don't think Tanner wanted to run that zone read at all with Tyrod today.
No, he didn't run it at all.
But Rye, what can we do at this point? At this point as fans, you got to look up, I guess. I'm pissed off.
I'm trying to look like that, right, Frankie? Like, I'm trying to look at the positives. I get it, though. I get why you are pissed off as a fan.
I'm really pissed off. I'm trying to.
A lot of fans are pissed off because it's more of the same, right? It's the Jets defense only gave up one touchdown today, really, which they did. They only gave it one touchdown. But what happened at the end? They could have come up with the stop that they needed to. And the guys that you're asking to make plays have not showed up and made plays. So while they try to spin this whole narrative of there's a lot of positives to take from it, but really it outweighs the negatives, it's like, no, the negatives outweigh the positives. It's the same old story for this Jets. They are the same old Jets because they keep beating themselves up and giving up 29 points 3 straight weeks defensively.
22 because that pick six.
22.
Still, I mean, right. Yeah.
And look, the defense did play better today. I will give them credit. I mean,
they played a little better, but in the big spots, that's the problem with this.
That's the problem. The big spots, they don't come up.
And Robert Saleh had this problem too. Robert Saleh's defense, he'd hold you down all game, or he'd hold you down for 2 or 3 drives. But when they need a big drive, and when they need that 3rd and 14, they're going to figure out a way to get it, or the flags are going to come out. Which, by the way, the NFL, please do something about all these flags. I don't want to see them. 21 flags today. Like, come on, what are we doing here? They were throwing flags, and then a couple times the guy came out. I didn't know who the guy was today, but he came out and goes, oh, there was no flag on the play. So why'd you throw the flag? How many flags are you going to throw today? What did you throw, 30 flags today? Holy crap. But with the Jets, man, defensively, they got to figure out how they're going to turn quarterbacks over. And this is something that Aaron Glenn's going to have to figure out. I don't know if Wilkes is going to be here next year, but they're going to have to figure out what they can do to really force some quarterbacks to make some bad decisions. Because, Ryan, I thought Baker was going to throw at least a pick today just because they were so short up front on the line. Egbuka, who's fantastic, by the way. Shout-outs to him. He's a great player. I thought they would find their way to some turnover today. In some way, shape, or form.
Look, you say that. I mean, Baker was 19 of 29, 233 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, sacked once. He only had a passer rating of 117.
Oh, was this over under 234 and a half?
Let me look it up.
I think it was.
Let me look this up. This is for all Jets fans. We were at the preview show. It was 234.5 pass yards.
I knew it.
Frankie hit the under by 1 yard. How good is Vegas, man? Holy
Vegas
crap.
is good. I knew, but they had they have touchdowns at 1.5. He was at 1.
Yeah.
Bucky Irving too was close. They had him at 70.
Bucky Irving,
right?
70.5. He had 66.
Yeah.
You had the under. You crushed it. No, you had the over.
I had the over. No.
Kaz had the under.
But I had the under on Brees, right? And Kaz had the over.
58.5. Yep. If you hit that. Garrett Wilson, you both had the under 66.5. Garrett ended up with 84. He killed you guys on that one.
Damn it.
What do you mean, damn it? Garrett Wilson was
no. I'm saying, damn it, that I didn't get the pick right because I should have picked.
Just wish
over.
I
hate
mental
picking under
errors though. I wish Garrett came back to that ball. You gotta help your quarterback out, especially someone who's a backup quarterback and he's under pressure and you've seen him under pressure a bunch. In that situation, like don't put him in that scenario. He's gonna float a ball up there. You gotta make it that play. And then Frankie, I do want to ask you about the Michael Clemens chasing down Baker on the 33-yard scramble. You got defenders running into each other. I mean, what are we doing?
Dude, when I saw that, you know who I thought of?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, Ryan's looking at these players bumping into each other, looking like a clown show. And then you see Michael Clemens 10 yards behind Big. Hey, at least he was running to the football. I'll give him some credit. He wasn't loafing. But yeah, I was thinking of you, man. I need to get an edit of that, and I'm gonna put your face on Michael Clemens. And it's like, Ryan chasing for a Jets playoff.
Jets win.
Berth. Yeah, Jets win.
That's where it's at right now.
No, I'll say this about Garrett, right? And I know early in the show I was ripping everybody, but listen, I want a big play out of Garrett. Like his long 17 yards today. Did have a good game. He was the only receiver that we have.
The only receiver. Yeah. Tyler Johnson's dropping third down, perfectly thrown balls. That's a problem.
Yeah, I want to see Garrett. Even last week, Garrett's long was 18 yards. We got to get Garrett Wilson the ball down the field, man. This kid should be catching balls over 20 yards every other game. There's no reason not to. This isn't an underneath guy. We've seen the highlights. We've seen the play on Halloween. We know this guy can go up and get it. And I think he needs to just get more opportunities to really make some big plays for us because we got no one else. And doing this like methodical kind of underneath offense that I think Tanner wants to run, I'm not sure if it's conducive to scoring fast. And with the lack of talent at wide receiver outside of Garrett on this team, what are you going to do? You're going to keep dinking and dunking and doing crossing routes and mesh patterns until what? Until Tyler Johnson drops the ball and then like you're screwed on that drive. So I think the Jets need to get Garrett going a little bit. And that, by the way, if we want to get into X's and O's, that was one thing Tanner Engstrand doesn't do for the most part. Like Jamison Williams in Detroit really never got going. He did the second half a little bit of last year, but they don't really like Ben Johnson too. They're not really OCs that value that number one wide receiver down the field threat. They like to use a multitude of guys. Why do you think Ben Johnson drafted Luther Burden in Chicago when they had Roma Dunze and DJ Moore and they got Colston Loveland and Cole? Like they rather have a bunch of players, which is again to my original point earlier on, and I probably didn't do the best job of explaining it, was why didn't we just bring in more talent around here? Why didn't we bring in a quarterback that does distribute the football and isn't like a scrambler that you need to run zone reads for? Like, I just didn't understand the makeup. But with that being said, hey, I still think Tanner Engstrand's a quality OC. I don't know what Aaron Glenn is.
I think he's learning on the fly. I think
he is learning.
You can't be more positive of Tanner Engstrand than you are with Aaron Glenn right now. I know you're being very, very critical of Aaron Glenn. And look, I do agree. We can't blame him for the last 14 and a half years of this Jets franchise and how it's been run and how it's produced absolute losers. It's not on him. This year, right now, he at the end of the year, we can evaluate. I think we still have to go week by week right now. The messaging is not great, in my opinion. He needs to be better with that. But we're so early in the season, Frankie. We can't be killing everything that they do right now. Let's do our last segment of the game. You got flowers to hand out to for a Jets player or coach, or I don't know. Who are you giving flowers out to for the Jets?
I'm going to give flowers to I was going to give flowers to Will McDonald, right? But I already gave him flowers week 1, and I don't like giving flowers. You know, I don't give flowers to flowers you give once in a while, once a month. You know, you don't give flowers all the time, or else they expect the flowers a lot. So you don't give them to the same person too often. You know what I'm going to go? I'm going to go with McCrary Ball. I'm giving my flowers to McCrary Ball. Guy had 7 tackles today, was all over the field, making tackles with his helmet off. Guy played hard today. When Quincy went down, he got some looks. I thought he played hard. I like players that come out and play hard. He was on the, he could have been cut potentially in the offseason.
Special teams captain.
Yeah, special teams captain. There we go. So great name, Marcellino McCrary Ball. I love that name. Phenomenal name. So he balled today, man. And he was all over the place for the most part. And maybe this could be the start of something where he could start playing a little bit more in that sort of like nickel linebacker role. So, McCrary Ball gets my flowers.
That's Frankie's choice. Mine's going to go to Garrett Wilson, the guy that Frankie hates.
I don't hate it. I said gain a few pounds. Come over. I'll make you some pasta.
He's highly critical of a player that's been a stud for them this entire season. 10 catches, 84 yards, a touchdown. Separated a bunch today, 13 targets on the day. He continues to be a true number 1 wide receiver for this Jets franchise because they refuse to find another receiver to help him out. So he's pretty much a man on an island out there, and he's still doing it against teams' number 1 corners. So Garrett Wilson gets my flowers for the Jets today in a really tough loss, 27-29 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Man, if we won this game, how much different this post game would be. This would have been phenomenal.
It would have been a lot more enjoyable Sunday, I'll tell you that much. And I probably wouldn't have yelled at you like I did.
Don't worry about it. I'm used to it. I get yelled at all the time. This guy said, Jeremiah Thomas goes, Frankie needs to step away for a few minutes. Way too emotional. Yeah, probably. The losses are disappointing, but taking out 14 years of frustration on this team is unfair. I don't think it's unfair.
It's not fair, Aaron Glenn.
No, it's fine. I didn't necessarily blame Aaron Glenn. I just blamed the way that this whole thing was constructed, and I'm totally in the right to do that. I think I don't want to point at the owner. I'm not going to, but there's got to be something just done there. I don't know what it is. There's got to be a juju or an energy shift, a voice change. Got to consult with someone or some group to try to help you. And I'm not talking about, the GM that was fired here. They got to do something. And I don't think it can be something small. I don't think it's like, sell, 15% stake in the Jets, which wouldn't be a bad idea. But they got to do something, right? Something just different. That's all it takes. It takes a little voice change. Could be a GM, could be a group. Woody consults with. I'm just saying, like, it's the same thing every year. I don't even think Bill Belichick in his prime coming here, I think it would look kind of the same, if you want my honest opinion. So I'm not really blaming Glenn necessarily. I don't know what it is, man. We fumble, it goes right in their lap. I mean, there's not even an opportunity for us to pick up the fumble. It fumbled and glitched into their lap. It didn't even hit the ground. They fumble, bounces around, and obviously there's 5 offensive linemen just ready. You want to pick it up? I'll pick it up. You pick it up. We got freaking Michael Clemens running along there
they did block a field goal and pick up the fumble.
They did. And then the joke just came right back. The football guys are like, yeah, we'll give you guys something. But we'll take it right back.
That's a show. That's Gangs All here. For Frankie Vittorini from U Stadium and Ryan Sampson here at the Post. We'll catch you again later this week, Jets fans. We'll preview the Jets versus Dolphins Monday Night Football game. Can the Jets finally get a win? They didn't get one today. So they're 0-3, start the season. Can they get themselves in the win column? We appreciate all you fans for copping in, hitting up the chat. Please join us every week as Frankie and I continue to yell at each other every single week after these Jets games because they continue to make us so dang frustrated. But that's a show. Frankie, I'll say it this time, considering there was more effort this week than last week. Until next time,
unbelievable.
Go Jets.